Hello, dear DSC candidates. Welcome back to my Grammar for Success channel. I am Koresh Babu, a retired lecturer in English from Hyderabad. In this video, I am going to give you the DSC 2025 Model Question Paper 5. I therefore request all of you to pay a very good attention to this video till the end without skipping it in the middle. I also request all of you to consider subscribing to my channel and also sharing this video with all your friends who are also going to take the DSC examination very shortly. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. Grammar and vocabulary. This is the fifth model question paper, and I think this is going to be the last model question paper for you. If at all you want one more question paper, I will try my best to give you that question paper also. I will be reading out the questions and the options. You have to just answer all of them. Okay, and right, I'll read out the 41st question. Choose the correct synonym of abrogate. So what is the synonym of abrogate? Here are the options given: maintain, abandon, repeal, uphold. 42nd question. Identify the antonym of laconic. What is the antonym of laconic? Verbose, reticent, terse, brief. 43rd question. Which sentence uses the correct homophone? The air was thick with moisture. The principal led the school with integrity. He couldn't bear the pain. They rode their bicycles to the park. Go to the 44th question. Choose the correct spelling. Conscientious. Conscientious. So all these words are about the word conscientious, and you choose the correct spelling of the word conscientious. Okay. Now you go to other questions. 45th question. The word ephemeral means immortal, lasting forever, short-lived, incomplete. 46th question. Select the correct one-word substitute. One who knows everything. That is the statement. For this, you have to choose the one word. Okay. What are the options given here? Omnipotent, omniscient, pandit, omnivore. 47th question. Identify the phrasal verb in the sentence. The plan was called off. Called off, called off was. 48th question. What is the meaning of the idiom? Hit the nail on the head. Make a mistake, do something violent, say something exactly right, break something. 49th question. Which proverb means? Don't judge based on appearance. Every cloud has a silver lining. A stitch in time saves nine. All that glitters is not gold. Better late than never. 50th question. Which suffix would you add to the word child to form a noun that describes a state? Full, hood, ing, ren. 51st question. Abbreviation. PDF stands for public document format, portable document format, printable data file, private data format. 52nd question. Choose the sentence with the correct word collocation. Make a decision, do a decision, break a decision, do an agreement. 53rd question. Identify the correct foreign phrase meaning a blessing in disguise. Déjà vu, bon voyage, Deus ex machina, Deus ex machina, benedictio in abscondito. 54th question. Choose the grammatically correct sentence with an article. He is a honest man. She has an unique idea. An ewe is a female sheep. There is a ewer on the table. 55th question. Which sentence has a prepositional phrase? She sings very beautifully. He parked his car in the garage. They ran quickly. We will look forward to seeing you. 56th question. Identify the adjective clause. It is a pity that she should have lost her job. I know that She is preparing for DSC. My fear is that she may collapse. The book that I borrowed yesterday is interesting. 57th question. Choose the correct transformation into passive voice. One should keep one's promises. Promises should be kept by everyone. Promises should be kept by one. Promises should be kept. Promises should be kept by all. 58th question. Identify the linker in the given sentence. The car capsized. Nevertheless, no one was hurt. The car, nevertheless, capsized, hurt. 59th question. Choose the correct sentence structure. Since missed the bus, he was late. He was late, he missed the bus. He was late, so he missed the bus. Late he was, he missed the bus. 60th question. Identify the function of should in. You should study harder. Possibility, permission, obligation, habit. 61st question. Choose the correct question tag. Everyone appreciated the magician. Question tag. Isn't it? Didn't they? Didn't he? Wasn't it? 62nd question. Select the sentence with the correct comparative degree. She is the most beautiful girl in the class. She is much beautiful than any other girl. She is more beautiful than her sister. She is a very beautiful girl. 63rd question. Identify the sentence type. Let him finish the job now. Interrogative, declarative, exclamatory, imperative. 64th question. Choose the correct tense for this sentence. By next week, he dash his project. Completes, will have completed, has completed. 65th question. Choose the grammatically correct sentence. She suggested me to go there. She suggested that I should go there. She suggested me that I go there. She suggested that go there. 66th question. Choose the correct transformation. Although he was poor, he was honest. Despite of being poor, he was honest. In spite he was poor, he was honest. Despite being poor, he was honest. Although being poor, he was honest. 67th question. Which sentence has an error in subject-verb agreement? Sheila along with her friends are going to the cinema. Sheila along with her friends is going to the cinema. Sheila along with her friends have gone to the cinema. Sheila along with her friends were going to the cinema. 68th question. Choose the correct direct speech version. He asked her why she was sad. He said to her, why you are sad? He said to her, why are you sad? He said to her, why are you sad? He asked her, why are you sad? 69th question. Identify the type of noun italicized. The jury has given its verdict. Proper noun, abstract noun, collective noun, material noun. 70th question. Choose the correct order of adjectives. A silk new red shirt, a new red silk shirt, a red new silk shirt, a silk red new shirt. 71st question. Select the correct modal verb for advise. Must, shall, should, will. 72nd question. Pick the sentence with a common error. He gave me an advice. She plays the violin beautifully. They have arrived very late. I saw her yesterday in the park. 73rd question. Choose the correct conjunction in. She is tired, dash, she is working. But, or, and, so. 74th question. What is the function of the underlined phrase? They all went to the market. Noun phrase, verb phrase, adverbial phrase, prepositional phrase. 75th question. Rhyme scheme of a limerick. ABAB, AA, BBA, ABBA, AA, AA. 76th question. What is parallelism? Use of similar grammatical structures, use of contrast, use of irony, use of alliteration. 77th question. The term mock epic refers to a serious heroic poem, a poem that mocks heroic style, a romantic poem, a folk song. And you go to the 78th question. What is a soliloquy? A group discussion, a speech by two people, a character's speech to himself or herself, a narrative. 79th question. Identify the poetic figure of speech in She cried a river of tears. Simile, metaphor, hyperbole, irony. 80th question. An epic simile is a short metaphor, a humorous simile, an extended simile in an epic, a comparison without as or like. 81st question. A chorus in drama is lead actor, supporting actor, group commenting on events, audience. 82nd question. A tragedy often involves happy ending, comic relief, hero's downfall, no conflict. 83rd question. The essay is defined as a fictional story, a short prose on a single topic, a poem, a drama. 84th question. What is enjambment in poetry? End of a poem, rhyme pattern, continuation of a sentence beyond a line, use of metaphors. 85th question. Rising intonation is generally used in WH questions, declarative sentences, imperative sentences, yes no questions. 86th question. Choose the word with the correct stress. Deportation, essential, patriotic, injurious. 87th question. The term empathy means feeling sorry, sharing others' feelings, being indifferent, avoiding emotions. 88th question. Identify the metonymy in the pen is mightier than the sword. Sword means violence, sword means justice, pen means war, pen means confidence. 89th question. What is anaphora? Repetition of vowel sounds, repetition of consonant sounds, repetition at the beginning of successive clauses, a type of metaphor. 90th question, the last question of this section. Choose the correctly punctuated sentence. I can't believe it, she said. So these are all the sentences about that. I can't believe it, she said. So you choose that sentence in which the punctuation marks are correctly used. And now I would read out the questions that are given on content. Please pay a very good attention to them. Questions on content. 91st question. In Where the Mind is Without Fear, the phrase narrow domestic walls metaphorically refers to small houses, social divisions, traditional customs, family boundaries. 92nd question. What is the structural pattern of the cloud by P.B. Shelley? Sonnet, free verse, lyric with irregular rhyme, blank verse. 93rd question. Which line from The Nation's Strength best illustrates the moral foundation of the poem? Not gold, but only men can make. A nation great and strong. Brave men who work while others sleep, who dare while others fly. 94th question. Which of the following best represents the mood of palanquin bearers? Melancholic, lively and rhythmic, cynical, suspenseful. 95th question. In what philosophical dilemma does Frost highlight in The Road Not Taken? Destiny versus free will, right versus wrong, wealth versus poverty, faith versus logic. 96th question. A slumber did my spirit seal is an example of which kind of poetry? ode, elegy, lyrical ballad, dramatic monologue. 97th question. In telephone conversation, the narrator's tone can best be described as sorrowful, humorous, bitterly ironic, apologetic. 98th question. The repeated phrase, may he sit still in Night of the Scorpion reflects hope for justice, irony, cultural chanting, fearful anticipation. 99th question. Bacon's view in of studies suggests that studies should be avoided by men of action, used to show off, applied judiciously, read extensively. 100th question. In self-reliance, Emerson warns against individualism, imitation, nature, progress. 101st question. The underlying theme in On Shaking Hands criticizes decay of moral values, mindless adherence to customs, bureaucratic red tape, diplomatic relations. 102nd question. What ideal does Rajagopalachari advocate in What Makes a Nation? Economic independence, cultural pride, ethical citizenship, military strength. 103rd question. Which commandment do the pigs in animal form violate first? No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. All animals are equal. No animal shall kill another animal. 104th question. What role does Rajam play in shaping Swami's life in Swami and Friends? Acts as a rival, becomes a political mentor, encourages academic success, introduces ideas of leadership and loyalty. 105th question. The theme of mistaken identity in 12th night contributes most to, what does it contribute to? Conflict resolution, creating comic misunderstandings, building suspense, political satire. 106th question. In The Importance of Being Earnest, Oscar Wilde uses the concept of Bunburying to illustrate escapism and double life, religious hypocrisy, class resentment, gender politics. 107th question. What is symbolized by the lawyer's renunciation of money in the bet? Economic instability, triumph of wisdom over materialism, disbelief in capitalism, regret for lost youth. 108th question. The climax of Engine Trouble revolves around the auction scene, the struggle to move the engine, the failed parade, the elephant episode. 109th question. What twist defines the end of after 20 years? The policeman is the old friend. The friend is a wanted criminal. The meeting never happens. Both men are imposters. 110th question. The transformation in The Thief shows a move from ignorance to enlightenment, poverty to wealth, dishonesty to integrity, hatred to love. 111th question. In The Cloud, Shelley presents the cloud as a passive element of nature, a destructive force, a life-giving, ever-changing spirit, a symbol of isolation. 112th question. In The Nation's Strength, Emerson's ultimate suggestion is that national greatness depends on its rulers' wealth, its army's strength, its people's character and sacrifice, its technological advancement. 113th question. In Palanquin Bearers, the paradox of joy and pain represents the bearer's resentment, the clash of social classes, the devotion of the bearers despite their burden, the failure of tradition. 114th question. The phrase two roads diverged in a yellow wood symbolizes natural beauty, a critical life decision, the poet's regret, an escape route. 115th question. A slumber did my spirit seal explores which philosophical theme? Immortality of the soul, materialism, the harsh reality of death, enlightenment through nature. 116th question. The use of telephone as a motif in telephone conversation emphasizes social disconnect, emotional bonding, technological progress, political oppression. 117th question. In Night of the Scorpion, the father's reaction reflects traditional beliefs, blind faith, scientific rationalism, emotional breakdown. 118th question. Francis Bacon in Off Studies advises that reading should replace practical learning, be for entertainment only, be critically evaluated and selectively applied, be memorized and repeated. 119th question. Emerson's self-reliance promotes the concept of intuition over conformity, group achievement, obedience to laws, dependence on teachers. 120th question, the last question in this section of content. Gardiner, in On Shaking Hands, uses humor primarily to entertain his readers, expose the absurdity of hollow social customs, mock British etiquette, criticize hand hygiene. With this, the questions and content will come to an end. Now, let us look at the questions given on methodology. Questions on methodology. 121st question. Which theory of language learning emphasizes stimulus response conditioning? Nativist theory, behaviorist theory, constructivist theory, cognitive code theory. 122nd question. In English language teaching, the critical period hypothesis suggests older learners learn faster, grammar must be taught early, there is a biological optimal window for language acquisition, translation aids in fluency. 123rd question. Which of the following is an affective factor influencing second language learning? Syntax, motivation, phonology, grammar rules. 124th question. One key distinction between L1 and L2 acquisition is input quantity, memorization ability, repetition frequency, grammar learning strategies. 125th question. One of the most important objectives of teaching English is to master archaic vocabulary, understand literary criticism, enable real-life communication, memorize dictionary definitions. 126th question. The scanning technique in reading involves reading all words carefully, predicting the text content, searching for specific information, reading aloud with rhythm. 127th question. Skimming a text is primarily used to identify keywords, understand detailed information, get the gist of the passage, translate complex sentences. 128th question. Which skill is predominantly productive? Listening, speaking, reading, vocabulary recognition. 129th question. In CLT, errors are seen as serious impediments, marks of indiscipline, natural part of learning, results of poor teaching. 130th question. The audio-lingual method emphasizes silent observation, spontaneous conversation, pattern drills and mimicry, reading literary texts. 131st question. Total physical response is best suited for grammar instruction, teaching advanced writing, beginner level listening and comprehension, debate practice. 132nd question. The PPP model in lesson planning stands for pre-writing, proofreading, publishing, present, practice, produce, pretest, practice, perform, pronounce, predict, perform. 133rd question. Concord in grammar refers to agreement between subject and verb, use of cohesive devices, sequence of tenses, direct speech accuracy. 134th question. Teaching vocabulary in context rather than isolation helps learners memorize spelling, understand abstract grammar, derive meaning naturally, score higher in dictation. 135th question. A collocation is a group of synonyms, a slang expression, a predictable word combination, a complex sentence. 136th question. Flashcards are most effective for grammar instruction, vocabulary building, essay writing, phoneme transcription. 137th question. Which of the following is a visual teaching learning material? Radio drama, newspaper article, film clip, audio cassette. 138th question. Realia in language teaching refers to audio materials, authentic physical objects, digital worksheets, grammar exercises. 139th question. A detailed lesson plan should always include student home addresses, number of school holidays, learning objectives and assessment criteria, names of textbook authors. 140th question. Which type of planning breaks learning goals into yearly segments? Weekly planning, curriculum planning, unit planning, lesson planning. 141st question. A spiral syllabus differs from a linear syllabus because it avoids revision, repeats topics with increasing depth, is only for beginners, eliminates advanced content. 142nd question. In curriculum development, horizontal alignment means coordination of content across grades, sequencing topics from simple to complex, coordination of subjects in the same grade, revisiting topics year after year. 143rd question. An analytic rubric uses a single global score, breaks evaluation into criteria-based components, is not useful for language assessment, only applies to speaking. 144th question. Washback in testing refers to the psychological stress of tests, how test design affects teaching and learning, remedial teaching, retesting failed students. 145th question. Which of these is not a valid purpose of diagnostic testing? Discovering learner difficulties, planning corrective instruction, certifying course completion, tailoring teaching strategies. 146th question. The IPA symbol dash. I don't pronounce this symbol. If I pronounce it, it is nothing but giving you the answer. And that is why I don't want to pronounce this phonetic symbol. And therefore, I'll read out the question like this. The IPA symbol represents the sound in chef, measure, sharp, church. 147th question. Which of the following words contains an aspirated sound? Spin, pin, bin, tin. 148th question. An unvoiced consonant is? These are all the options. You choose the consonant which is unvoiced from these options. Okay. And now you move on to other questions. 149th question. Stress in English is uniform in all words, irrelevant to meaning, a distinguishing feature in many words, based only on spelling. 150th question. Juncture. Juncture refers to tone variation, stress shift, pause and connection between sounds, mouth movement. 151st question, segmental phonology deals with intonation, rhythm, individual sounds, they are nothing but phonemes, speech melody. 152nd question, in teaching speaking, the turn taking principle ensures all learners speak simultaneously, interruptions are encouraged, structured participation in conversation, faster pronunciation learning. 153rd question, the communicative competence model includes only grammatical knowledge, socio-linguistic and discourse abilities, memorizing phrases, phonetic transcription only. 154th question, a major shortcoming of the grammar translation method is over-reliance on listening, lack of reading materials, neglect of speaking and listening skills, use of only modern texts. 155th question, code switching refers to changing languages within conversation, using informal grammar, translating idioms, correcting pronunciation. 156th question, a rubric in testing serves to provide a visual aid, show grammar patterns, define evaluation criteria, display reading passage. 157th question, which among the following promotes learner autonomy? You know about the learner autonomy. Dictation exercises, teacher-centered lectures, peer feedback and self-assessment, strict error correction. 158th question, in pronunciation teaching, minimal pairs are used to teach vocabulary, highlight grammatical differences, contrast similar sounds, improve spelling. 159th question, functional syllabus focuses on grammatical structures, literary genres, language used for real life purposes, regional dialects. And the last question of this part is 160th question. In language learning, fossilization refers to what? Vocabulary building, fluency development, permanent errors in interlanguage, correct usage of past tenses. And with this, the questions on methodology will come to an end. And now let us look at the answers for all these questions. Answers to grammar questions, grammar and vocabulary questions that is there. So these are the answers for the questions from 41 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 90. So these are the answers to grammar and vocabulary questions. Now you move on to the answers to the questions of content. Answers to content questions. These are the answers for the questions from 91 to 100, 101 to 110, 111 to 120. These are the answers to content questions. Now you move on to answers to methodology questions. Answers to methodology. So these are the answers for the questions from 121 to 129, 130 to 139, 140 to 149, 150 to 160. So with this small video will come to an end. One very important thing is, and there might take place some typographical mistakes. If at all, if you come across any such typographical mistakes, please bring it to my notice. I'll pin it in the video, right? And I request all of you to read the pinned information whenever you start watching the video. Pinned information will be available only in the comment section. Okay. And one more important thing I would like to tell you that this is going to be the last model question paper, because you are running short of time and the examinations are going to start from 5th June onwards, I think, and I do not know when your English test is going to take place, but I want to stop the model question papers with this only, because the explanatory videos on this video will be uploaded tomorrow morning and in the afternoon. And today in the afternoon, I would like to upload the explanatory video on content and methodology of the fourth question paper. I hope you are all waiting for that explanatory video, because when if I give some question paper, I want to explain all the questions to you, all the answers to you, because then only it will have its own meaning. Otherwise, simply giving questions and just giving you the answers to all those questions, that I generally don't like. I want to explain each and every question. Okay, as far as possible, I want to explain. So in the afternoon, I'm going to upload the explanatory video on content and methodology of the model question paper 4. Okay, and please watch that and express your opinion. I might make some mistakes, because I'm not a robot. I'm just a human being. So I might make some mistakes. So whenever I make mistakes voluntarily or involuntarily, please bring it to my notice. I will just pin that information to the video. Okay, and with this, this video will come to an end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hello, dear DSC candidates. Thank you so much for watching this wonderful video. Please try to answer all these questions on your own. Don't simply look at the questions and leave them. Try your best, please, because you are going to take the DSC examination. That is going to be the life-changing examination. And therefore, you must be very serious in your studies. Then only you can succeed in your attempt. Otherwise, you will be here only. And therefore, take it as a serious aspect and try to solve all these questions. If you cannot solve all these questions, don't worry about that. Tomorrow, I am going to upload explanatory videos on both grammar and vocabulary and content and methodology. Okay, and with the explanatory video on content and methodology of the model question paper 4, I shall be back to you. Until then, bye. See you, all of you.